Hello, and welcome to the next episode. 13 years ago, Patrice and I took our first steps on the property of the ancient and abandoned Abbey fortress. This story is about when we visited the Abbey Cloister. What is a cloister? It is one of the most vital elements in monastic architecture. A cloister is a covered passageway that connects the church to the living spaces of the monks or nuns. It travels along a solid wall on one side, usually the wall of the church, and the other side is an open arcade that faces a courtyard. It is private and enclosed. As the monks or nuns go about their daily lives, the cloister protects them from exterior influences and provides them the serenity to reflect, pray, and meditate. This cloister is from an abbey of Recollets monks in Bergerac. It is much smaller in scale, but shares the same principles as the grand ones do. It's also a good example of what our cloister would have looked like. Okay, so back to our Recollets monks. This was their church constructed at the same time as the abbey, between the years 1619 and 1623. The cloister was along the church's wall, and the abbey enveloped the interior courtyard. There were 3 points of entry, creating an easy, graceful flow around the central courtyard, and an easy access between their daily activities and their worship. They lived this way for about 165 years until 1789 and the French Revolution. It was catastrophic for the monastics. That is when the monks were either killed off or expelled, and the access points were blocked off. The church became part of the town, and the abbey was sold into private hands. So here we were, 215 years later, seeing the same cloister that was beloved by the monks. It had changed dramatically, and to me, it was very tragic. Jackie, the realtor, led us through the door to the courtyard. Underneath the church's stained glass window was what used to be the cloister and the cloister wall. It was a mishmash of different elements that did not make any sense at all. The energy was long dead, and there was nothing left of the spirit or the soul of the old abbey or the monks. One of the additions was a literal tower outhouse with just a big pipe under the so-called toilet with a sewer pit underneath. We noticed little windows evenly spaced on the same level all around the cloister. They were blocked up mysteriously. It was very apparent that they were from the time of the monks. Another atrocity was the same toilet tower on the other side. It was so disrespectful. Why would anyone do these things? The next space we visited was dark and horrible, and it had a big open grave-like hole, and I didn't ask any questions. This was where the main entry was between the abbey and the church, and there it was. Then we finally walked inside the actual cloister space. My spirits rose when I saw the lovely carved stone archway. And then, just beyond that, on the church wall was a remnant of a fresco painting of a cross with the letters INRI, which means in Latin, Jesus, King of the Jews. We walked further inside, and there was a second entry point, a tiny carved stone archway. And then, barely visible Mortared inside that mishmash courtyard wall, we could see the base of a stone column. The monks were still here. Stay tuned for next episode as we open this door and descend into the cave. Or was it the ancient crypt? Or a place of monster skeletons?